Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 3.
Whoever thought we were going to make it this far.
I know, right? three episodes, and we've talked about some juggalettes. We had a good half-drunken debate about vampires.
No, sir. Fully drunken. And for those of you who had to
I will say half because I wasn't.
For those of you who had to watch that, I apologize. But damn it, I'm trying to be a professional. Speaking of professionals, look at Charlie's tits.
They're pecs. They're pecs, damn it. Yes, I decided to make this the picture for this episode just so he can't get away from it.
Oh, you're a son of a bitch for that, too. When I made that, I thought to myself, he's going to love this, and I'm going to hate it.
Oh, yes. We were talking about, like, a movie I saw, and I said, oh, if I could trade things that we can't get out of our heads. You could have what I saw in Beau's Afraid, and I could have my glorious physique in that one. But yes, I am the House of Chayton, along with my co-host, Darkwing Duck, a.k.a. Dan.
I am the knight.
Yes, I was like Darkwing Duck. I'm like, yes. But yes, we are here to talk about something that a lot of us have been very open about as of late, and has opened a lot of discussion, and that is OnlyFans.
Well, not just that. Like, OnlyFans is an encompassing umbrella, but it's something that a lot of people have been like getting at. And some people we know of, maybe not our biggest fans, but everyone deserves the right to have an opinion. But like I said, not just OnlyFans, but like internet monetary gain, I guess you would call it. People have made careers, especially after the pandemic. People were making full-on careers on this shit, and something like OnlyFans is honestly, and this may shock a lot of you, I think it's a great fucking idea.
And I was actually 2 years ago, I was in the same mindset as some people are now regarding thoughts of it, where I'd be that person who would say that OnlyFans is online prostitution and all this other stuff. These are words I said going back to the OG Outcasts days, way back in the day.
Well, and I can see how people can go about that and say, hey, you're selling your body, but you're making that choice. You're selling content for a bottom line, right? Like you make that choice. They're not forcing you to do shit. And and before we started this episode, when we talked about doing this, I went in there, started looking around. I checked out some of the OnlyFans stuff for research, clearly, just for research.
For research, yes.
But like I said, there are a lot of celebrities that were supplementing their income. You and I are huge wrestling fans, right?
Yeah.
Kylan King, who I would love to interview one day, and I've reached out to her, but apparently, in her words, she can't do interviews while working for Impact, some shit like that. But she has an OnlyFans, and it's pretty tasteful. Like, and I checked it out. Missa Kate, who's also an indie wrestler who's working for NWA, she has an OnlyFans. And if it wasn't for that OnlyFans, I would have never been able to interview her when I did. But it was through those platforms that you could have that direct contact, and you get to see another side of your favorite, celebrity. Because it's not just celebrities. Iggy Azalea thing has an OnlyFans. There's a lot of people that are doing this as a supplement to income.
Yeah, like even with you're mentioning someone from Impact, like Deonna Purrazzo has one.
Absolutely.
If I'm remembering correctly, with it, I think one of the first celebrities to make it like a big thing where they were, and then they started coming in more frequently. I think was Bella Thorne.
Yeah, and UFC fighter Paige Van Zandt.
Yes,
she stopped fighting, and she's making hella money. But not just OnlyFans, Fanzy, and that one? Mandy Rose, who recently.
Yeah, I was going to say Phantom. I think it's called. I was going to bring that up because that's basically what led to her release, and she's making a killing off of that.
Break it down.
Huh?
Go ahead and break it down. If you know the story, break it down.
Yeah, like she had a site that unfortunately got leaked, but then again, that's the thing with being a celebrity. It's gonna be easier for these types of things to get leaked than, let's say, a schmuck like me or you, regular everyday schmuck like me and you. It's gonna be hard for it to be leaked. But if it's like someone like a Mandy Rose or even Deanna Praza or Paige Van Zandt, you don't really need to pay to find those photos if you look hard enough. But
cheap bastard.
So you're telling me you when you went there you just searched. Oh yeah, let me just pay. But then, what do you call it? Well, yeah, I am a cheap bastard to the most part. But she was. Those photos got leaked into videos, which will from investigating reasons back then. I checked out to see what they were, and yeah, they were like. They were very risque. You basically saw, I think you didn't see was that, but you saw basically ass, tits, and all that shit.
It was all like innuendo. There was nothing that was like, you don't see full on like, bam. It was all innuendo.
And so they were trying to get her, I guess, to stop using it. She didn't, so they just let her go, which people have their opinions over, but in the long run, she actually made more money doing that than how much she was making her contract. So, in all honesty, she's not like it's not like her decision to keep it up was a bad one because
she made over. I don't know if I'm exaggerating here, but I believe over $1 million.
Yeah, I believe in like the first week or first month after the release, so that actually helped more than hurt.
Brother, I would take a look. I'll get naked and for $1 million. I'll start a fucking OnlyFans for $1 million.
Yeah. Oh yeah, who wouldn't? You know, it's like also you gotta be comfortable in your own body and all that. You know, shit. I've like we've talked about before about being the fat chick slayer. The first OnlyFans that I was ever a part of was a bigger chick, and she was making. Granted, I still think $50 for a what do you call it, a 10 to 20 to 30-second clip was a little far, but there were people who were paying for it. So it's not just these 10 out of 10 model looking women or whatnot who get these, who will get it. There are bigger chicks on that you know you could that if they want it they'll pay for it, you know.
Well, and like asking around and talking to like the John Q. Public on the street, talking to people I know in real life, it's been like, so what is it about OnlyFans? You know this, and it's not the most prevalent conversation you have, but to ask regular people that actually use the site, they like to see normal people. It has nothing to do with. Like, oh, I have to see a celebrity. No, it's about like some people that like enlist and watch these videos on OnlyFans or Fansy or Fan Time or whatever it may be, watch because they like to see normal everyday people doing their thing. I mean, there's been a couple of teachers that got busted on there, and we'll get into that in a second, but in the same breath, these people that do these OnlyFans, they have to promote that. They have to go through all the effort of doing all that. It's not like it's just instantly, oh, I get an OnlyFans, I'm getting paid. So, like, I need that clarification out there that everybody's like, oh, they're whoring themselves. No, they have to put work in. No different than, like, you doing a YouTube channel. You have to promote this. And I'll say it right now, Charlie, you're probably one of the toughest and fucking hardest working sons of bitches on this platform because you're always trying to promote this. You're trying to do that. You're trying to get notoriety. You're doing everything right. But you're not a 1 million subscriber channel. You're just a guy on the street doing his thing.
Exactly. And it's like, for example, I'll throw in my own personal experience from there. Like I've openly admitted there are certain people that I follow and on there, and either they're people that I do work with stuff with them, or they're friends, and it's. And like you said, it's not like all you gotta say is, oh, I have an OnlyFans, and boom, you'll get that. It's just the idea of you have to promote it. Now with like celebrities and whatnot, all they really have to do is like, boom, I just created OnlyFans, boom, you'll get a good amount if they want it enough. But like for example, like let's say you're let's say you're a regular dude or even a chick for this matter, because guys have OnlyFans too. It's not just the women's side. You can, like, let's say you have a friend that you know you'll never get with. But like you'll be just that friend and all that. Never see her naked, all that stuff. So she makes an OnlyFans, let's say $10 or whatnot, or $5. That's like probably to be like, oh shit, this is the closest thing I'll ever get to see her naked or whatnot. And plus, in a way, you're supporting your friend by doing that, by helping their small business, however way you look at it.
I can see that, but there's also that anonymity of knowing that, hey, I got to check this out. It's no harm, no foul. I'm not impeding on her. She's selling this as a contract, supporting her. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a dark side to everything, but I can see where you're coming from. But speaking of that, in that same breath, there was been a couple teachers who had OnlyFans who during the pandemic were making extra money, and some of their students found them. But to be fair, if you're going to sit there and criticize these teachers, OnlyFans is supposed to be an 18 and older site. And these kids are fucking high schoolers. Who the fuck is letting these fucking kids get on these sites and share these photos? You know, that's the downside I see. That's you have these Fan Time, Fansy, all these other sites that are doing this. These teachers are doing this because you fucked them. I mean, I'm not trying to get too political about it, but they can't work. They can't go back to school. So they're going to make their money. They're going to supplement their money some other way. And they did that. And sorry, I mean, again, we'll probably talk about this in another thing, but sorry, God, anyway, sorry, God, in my opinion, God made these women beautiful and attractive, and they get to use those assets to, help their families and whatever, and they're okay with it. They don't feel like they're fucking prostituting. They feel like they're doing something and expressing themselves and making a nice little coin on the side, and then you have these little shits that go out there. Hey, did you see Miss Jones? Yeah, the fucking
your asshole, all that sort of shit, Fuck,
it wouldn't even
take a picture of her asshole.
Something, not even that. It was like they were just being provocative, like a towel over the boob, or like their hands, placed somewhere. They weren't showing anything. There was no actual nudity. Much like Mandy Rose, these teachers were just putting that stuff out there, and some guys found it attractive, and then some of their students found it, and they fucking went a ham sandwich on them. And I don't agree with that. We have become a culture of fucking like as far as we've come so much further, but we're taking 50 fucking steps back. It's like, grow the fuck up. It's not like these teachers are Mary Kay Letourneauing somebody. They're just fucking posing provocative photos. Like, there was a time when you could look at Playboy, but when it had, and celebrities would go on there, and it was like, oh my God, so and so went on Playboy, and it was tasteful, and it was this. You can't do that anymore because everybody's got a fucking opinion.
Yeah, it's like I've always said. I still remember when I found how old was I? 6 or 7. I was in the garage, and I find my grandfather's stack of Playboys, and finding Sable, like, most of them didn't interest me, but I see Sable and fucking China, those issues are like, holy shit. And it was just the kind of that crazy thing. But then it was funny later on, get like something like Penthouse or whatnot, and you're like, whoa, this is a little more.
Speaking of which, I still have like a pretty good condition in storage. All the WWE fucking Playboys.
I wish I still. I remember. I think the first one I actually bought, like, myself. Well, my grandfather bought it for me, but it was the. I think the first one I actually owned was the last, at least officially. I know they did stuff afterwards, or they did before they worked for WWE or whatnot. Was Maria Kanellis.
Yep, got that one.
Yeah, because that was a big deal. And then, like, beforehand, I was still too young maybe to get like the Ashley Massaro one or fucking.
God rest her soul. I say God rest her soul. Yeah. She will always have a soft spot for me. Ashley Massaro was an amazing woman.
Yeah. And then Cancer Show, and of course, my personal favorite, the lovely and the aged gracefully Tori Wilson.
I was more of a Stacy Keibler guy.
Oh, of course you were.
She's beautiful.
She is. I'm not going to deny that. I still remember that episode she was in with George Lopez.
She's got legs.
Well, yes, she knows how to use them. Yeah, no, she's aged great. She's aged great too, so I can't really but just Tori Wilson.
Well, and I'm not trying to like brag or anything, but I'm in a lovely relationship with someone, and she's a mature woman who understands. Like we have discussions about stuff like this, and she gets it, and she's fucking brilliant in the fact that she never takes things too serious. But you always see somebody who's got fucking to bitch and moan about, oh well, they can't have these women, so fuck everybody and fuck you and eat fish heads. I'll never understand it. It comes off as envious. And so once they get a movement going, then everybody else is fucking vilified because they don't follow their certain fucking code of morals.
No, and I agree. And it's just it's the whole, like, kind of even going back to even the honesty thing, like the last relationship I had, I was, it's funny how certain things I was afraid about talking about, probably with other people, but I was able to discuss something like, oh yeah, I did stuff for women's OnlyFans and all that. So it was like, it's always kind of a hard thing to be like, oh yeah, how, like, or even if you are working, like, let's say you're like, I consider myself now, and I'll go into more of my details about me being, how I changed my tune in the last couple of years, how I kind of consider myself a freelance OnlyFans model. I am a person with no home in that regard. I do not have one of my own. I always make jokes about having one, but I have done stuff with other people, whether in actually one person with Fancy, where and usually they'll be like, hey, you wanna take a percentage of however much his video sells for, whatnot. It's fine. Only one chick, because she's the one out of all of them, I genuinely believe she's, she has some medical stuff and she has kids and all this other stuff. Plus, I always had a crush on her. So I always was like, since I knew we were never going to go further than that, I was like, I literally told her, I know where this money is going. I'm like, I said, you don't have to pay me a damn thing. It was the payment of us hooking up for this was payment enough for me, so I didn't care. But then there's some other chicks I've came across, friends or whatnot, that literally will basically prove to some people about the prostitution, because they're like, hey, you want to work with me? I'd be like, yeah, okay. Pay me $150 and then you get percentage of however much you make in the video. And I'm like, okay, you're a fucking hooker. No, I ain't gonna pay for it.
To go to that part, there's some people that take advantage of it. Like you definitely know that there's, and I'm not trying to like location this or categorize this as a certain kind of person, but there's those definite European influence pages that are $10, see 50 pictures or something like that, and you know what they're there for. They get those desperate kind of guys that pretty much live at home and those fucking, what are they called? Not simp.
Basement dwellers?
No, they're basically incels.
Oh yeah.
And to define incel, it's not an insult, right? They're involuntarily celibate. That's what an incel is. They're basically, whether it be social awkwardness, whether it be like lack of confidence, whether it be just fucking lack of options, they're celibate, and they can't, and not because they want to be celibate, because they're basically in a 40-year-old virgin kind of situation, and these people prey on these incels and they use them to make money. And yeah, there's a dark side of that, but it also, if you try to find a positive in that, they get to enjoy seeing someone like that in a provocative way where they would never any other way get to do that. I mean, there's ways you can flip this, good or bad. My only issue is when you try to deny someone the opportunity to make money and shame them. Like, why are you shaming someone who's trying to do something for themselves? Again, go back to the fucking pandemic. Not much we could do. Everything we did required a mask. You can't start a whole new career because you're fucking told by your government or whatever it may be to stay inside. That didn't work out too well for a lot of people. And so they found other options, and I, there's a woman named Skulls, Sylvia Skulls, love her to death. She's an influencer on TikTok. and her partner Andy do like amazing fucking content, and I think it's amazing what they've done. They've made a nice nest egg. They do gaming channel stuff now, but like I said, all of this was brought forward because of these internet abilities to make money. There's nothing wrong with it. Hell, not all OnlyFans are just people get naked. So like what the fuck is his name? Diego Sanchez had an OnlyFans, and he was just doing Diego Sanchez weird, goofy shit. Like, it wasn't about the fucking getting naked. It was just another way for people to. It was as it was intended to be. OnlyFans. If you're fans of this person, pay me this much money, and we'll do this. I believe it's no different than like Twitch. Like Twitch started out as a gaming site, and how many people are doing fucking interviews and videos and shit on there? It has nothing to do with gaming.
Exactly. Like even when I was doing the Hangman Outcasts back in the day, I think the last probably 10 or so episodes, we were dual streaming it from YouTube and Twitch, you know. So it was like, and the show had nothing to do with fucking that. By the way, side note, we record these in advance, but I wanted to also dedicate not only this episode to the memory of Jerry Springer.
Oh, God, I was going to talk about that. I completely forgot. I didn't want to even think about that.
Yeah, the main reason why I bring up here is just because Jerry Springer, the likes of Jerry Springer and Howard Stern were big inspirations for me in regards to not only the OG Outcast, but also is how I promoted a lot of my streams and stuff. This all chaos and just you never knew what was going to happen. And
but that was their shtick. Like Jerry pushed the envelope. Like if you go back to looking at him having the clan members on and then telling them he's Jewish and them losing their shit, and how many I have a penis episodes. Did you see? You know, like like he was an interesting cat, brilliant mind. Was the governor of Chicago for a bit there. You know, before he did the Jerry Springer show, he was legitimately in the news, and I think he was a reporter at one point or an investigative journalist. You know, brilliant mind, and we've another guy that it's so sad we've lost. He was in the 70s, you know, but it's just a reminder we don't live forever.
Yeah, and you know it's and without the show, and we'll get back to the topic in a moment, but without that show. Like, who knows if because that, like, you could tell with the Attitude Era, like, that took a lot of influences. I believe I remember them talking about that they would be sitting there watching Jerry Springer while they would be figuring out what to talk about.
Well, I'm not a big fan of Vince Russo, but, like, yeah, he has been on record as saying that. But, again, to bring it back, would we have things like OnlyFans without someone like Jerry Springer? Like, you know, like we were people who wanted to push the envelope a little bit. Like, I go back to one of my favorite radio jocks. His name is Russ Martin. He's also passed away, but he pushed the fucking envelope and did some really fucking interesting things. You know, Stern did some really interesting things. And you know, we've gotten to a point where at one point we were comfortable with our sexuality. You know, remember going back to the fucking Paris Hilton, the sex tape with her, going back to fucking Pam. Before that, Pam Anderson. Oh my God,
Tommy Lee, my hero. Oh, Tommy Lee even had an OnlyFans after he posted a picture of his dong on Instagram. I think a year or two ago.
You know who else has an OnlyFans, and it's fucking hilarious. Markiplier.
What the fuck?
Yes. His fan, not that it's super, like, okay, so if you've ever seen his Tastefully Nudes calendar, it's not like he's super naked or anything, but again, his fans wanted him to do an OnlyFans, and he was fucking around joking about it, and then they met his criteria, like, if you do this, I'll do it, and they fucking did it in, like, 3 days, and he's like, fuck, you actually did it. Okay, well, damn it, I'll post up on OnlyFans. And he did. And again, it was super popular. People love Markiplier. One of the most wholesome, funny, hilarious guys, you know? Yes, he drops F-bombs off the ass, but he's as far as YouTube content creators, Markiplier is one of the most interesting guys you'll ever fucking meet. And, like, he and I probably wouldn't, like, politically get along or in a lot of spaces get along, but I just find him very interesting. And he has an OnlyFans. There's nothing wrong with supplementing your income. There's nothing wrong with doing this stuff if you're comfortable in your own skin and you don't mind fucking people looking at you in a certain way, like examining your body and enjoying the fruits of who you are. I say go for it. I just don't like all this fucking judgment because it's a lot of fucking, well, I can't do this, so I'm gonna fucking piss on your parade. It's funny that people talk shit when in actuality most of the highest paid fucking people on OnlyFans are fucking men.
Yeah, and that's always an interesting factoid, if you will, regarding that. And for example, it's like, okay, so like when I first did a video for somebody, I believe it was in 2021. First time I ever did was with a bigger chick, and like. Even I'm someone, anybody who follows me on Instagram or follows me on Facebook or whatnot knows I'm not like ashamed of my body. I will post selfie pictures of me out of the shower, basically from the stomach up. I'm not someone who's like, yes, do I want to get into better physical shape? Yes, everybody does, but I'm not ashamed of the skin I'm in currently. And even some people that will comment, even men and all that, and will say, I said, I wish I had your confidence, or wish I had your, and all that. So because some people, even thinner than I am, wouldn't even do that type of stuff. But I guess my thing was that, like, being able to do that and having everybody see it, because like it's one thing if you make a sex tape with your spouse or just a little thing, whoever chick you're with, and say, hey, listen, have that for forever, and keep it to yourselves. But it's one thing to do that; it's all fine and dandy. But then you're doing this knowing that people are going to see it. It could be a few, it could be 100, could be 1,000, so on and so forth. So like. With me, the first time I did it. It was nervous, not and all that, just because it was, again, knowing that it's like when we caught it was friends before she shut it down last year. I promoted her stuff on a stream, and I always made a joke. I said, "Find out if I'm short or not. Just pay $50." And I literally messaged and say, "Oh yeah, I promoted your shit on a video." I said, "So if you get some new buys," I said, "You're welcome," because I was like, I can't believe promote. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I did promote. I don't give a shit. Like unless YouTube takes it down because I put the link in the live chat, fuck it." But I was like, it's just the idea of, hey, I think she did get a few buys, but I was like, wonder who those were, but. But it was just the idea where I'm positive about not only body size, what have you. That I don't care about doing that. Like if and even to this day, like I literally right now I have at least 5 different people that I do content with, 4 on OnlyFans, 1 on Fancy, and basically there are times where I do stuff with all of them in one week, and there are some I do some periodically. It just depends on the whole supply and demand thing on that. But I've doing it myself, even not doing it for my own account or whatever, but doing it for others. It's given me an appreciation, especially not only for the the people willing to buy, but also the work that has to be done. Because there's one chick I will say she basically turns it into a fucking studio. Basically, she has the lights on, all this other stuff. It's and she even got she does photography on the side, but she got herself like a camera where she just records off of that.
Well, not to go into too much detail, but you and I both know I've worked in a business where that some of that stuff goes on. Like I work clubs, I've worked all kinds of shit like that. And they have setups like that. Like they'll have a bed, they have this, they have a cat, whatever it may be, whatever your shtick is for that week. But again, the lighting and all the production that goes into it, it's no different than a full feature film. They want to get the best quality, want to get the best angles, and it takes effort to do some of that. And for some of these more well produced fucking pages, you don't know what goes into fucking the work of that. Like, this is not just a quick cash grab for some of these people. They take it fucking serious.
Exactly. And like, even to go back to it, like, I even besides the physical aspect of it, there like, if I even do stuff for others that are close friends by that are maybe they're lesbian or they're whatnot, and like, since I'm really good at taking pictures of good angles and whatnot, they usually try to get me to do that for them. And again, me being a cheap bastard, I always tell people, I'm like I'll do whatever you need me to do. I said, you pay me or don't, it's irrelevant. But I said, as long as I get a copy of the photos that I'm taking, it's all good. That's literally, even with the one I did for free, I literally told her, I said, I'll still support your main page and all that, but anything we do, all I want is the copies of the video. That's all I want. And I told her, I said, you know me long enough, you don't have to show them to anybody.
So I remember, like, and I don't know if he stole it from some movie or something, but I remember working with a guy who worked at a club, and it was a high-end club, and we were sitting back there, and he had me doing some lighting and stuff like that. I was doing double duty that night, and I said, so what is it about this? And he goes, dude, we're making fucking movies. That's what we're doing. And I thought about that. It didn't hit me till like later in life, but that's what they're doing. They're making fucking movies.
Yeah,
the inflection and where you put that sentence. And I know he probably stole that from a fucking movie or something. I know he did because he was a big movie guy. But he was just like said, we're making fucking movies. That's all we're doing, and it takes effort. And some people think and sex is fun, sex is great, but when you turn it into a profession, like I used to talk to a actress named Grace Evangeline, old school, back in the day. Fucking, she was like, we're talking back in the days of like Sarah J and shit like that. Really nice lady, great, cool conversation. When I was doing videos on another platform, I made a whole documentary on why the sex industry gets a bad rap, and we would talk, and basically she was telling me, like, people think we just lay there and fuck. That's not it. Like, there's scenes and they break it down, and these are like, what you see is one giant fucking movie or clip or scene, but it's hours of fucking work to perfect this. They're trying to bring you a fantasy of something that you'll probably never fucking experience, but they're trying to bring you the best version of that fantasy. And if you like, I'm a fan of looking behind the scenes, right? I love going behind the road. Maybe sometimes that's not the best thing because it ruins, once you see behind the illusion, it ruins it. But it didn't for me. I enjoyed their fucking work. I think that the sex industry is the first industry there ever was. We as fucking human beings, one of the first things we ever did as cavemen were fucking. We wouldn't be here. You and I wouldn't be here if our parents didn't fuck. Just like anybody else who talks all this shit about sex and all that. You wouldn't be here if it didn't fucking happen. Maybe it wasn't raw dogging and nasty, but if your mom didn't fucking fuck in the back of the fucking Plymouth, in the back of the Piggly Wiggly, you wouldn't be fucking here. All right, sorry. And this notion that people doing this and making it profitable, I don't know. I find it hypocritical, because if you could be in that position, you would be. If you were in touch with your fucking sexuality, if you felt like you looked like a Grecian god or an Adonis, you'd be doing it. You'd be making fucking money on this, but you're not. It's a lot of hatred and bitching and moaning and crying prostitution. You know what real prostitution is? The girls on the street that are getting fucking traded in sex trafficking. The fucking, like, immigrants that are coming over here and getting fucked over and sold into slavery, basically. The children that are getting fucked over. How about you pick up that cause instead of attacking innocent OnlyFans creators who are just trying to fucking make a little coin on the side? I will never, ever understand the hypocrisy of that. Worry about shit like Pizzagate. Worry about fucking celebrities fucking children. Why are you worrying about fucking Jane Doe, who's like a struggling teacher during a pandemic trying to make side money, and her husband's like, you know what, baby, let's do something out of the box. Let's fuck on camera. and who are able to pay off their fucking mortgage in 3 years. Wow, what a story. Doing something, being passionate and being in love and having, and sharing these intimate moments with people. Great. Awesome. Go you paid off a fucking $300,000 house in 3 months, 3 years, whatever it may be. Instead, let's fucking villainize these people. I'll never understand it, but that's how I look at things.
No, and it's also the idea that is when people say that paying for this is prostitution, whatnot, but and they'll use the terminology. Well, I could get it on, or I could watch this shit for free on porn, right? But they're like, unless you look hard enough to find a specific long video of a specific porn star you're interested in, like there are premium versions of certain porn sites like a Pornhub or what have you, where if you pay a certain amount, you get these longer videos and you get these full-length videos and all that stuff. And that may be the only way, again, unless you look hard enough, because somebody's uploaded that version for, even if it's only for a couple of weeks or whatever. There is like there are ways that you'd have to pay to get these longer versions. So it's no different. It's like, I even know friends who have OnlyFans who have two versions. They have a free version, which is kind of a
promotion.
It's more promotion. Sometimes I'll post something a little more risque, but it's primarily that. And then they have their main one. So if you want to see, if you just want to see almost everything, but maybe dotted, like let's say the nipples are blacked out and the vag is blacked out. And if you're just fine with just using your imagination to fill in the gaps, then you have that. But if you want to see the real thing, then yeah, you have to pay for it. It's no different. Like I guess in more modern times, one of my favorite porn stars is Lauren Phillips. I'm a fan of a redhead with a big ass.
She's
so like if I want to. Like if I really want to go see a longer video of her getting fucked, if I'm that in need of it, I can look around. But if I want to get everything in one area, yeah, I don't have to pay for it. And then even the porn stars, especially during the pandemic as well, also had to do their make OnlyFans. A lot of them still to this day, I know I think Eva Nadi has one. Remy LaRoe has one. Some more newer people may know a few of those. I think even Lauren Phillips, Danny Daniels, and all that. So, and the list goes on. So it's even been a extra amount of income for them as well.
And to think about this, girls like that, women like that who are in that business, they get fucked because you can find Pornhub for free and they don't get paid for their shit. They get fucked.
Yeah.
They're actresses and actors, Xander Corvus. I love watching his interviews and him coming through sobriety and like a male porn star. He's been through so much shit, but he's a fucking actor. And if you've ever seen anything he's in, he goes full bore, and it is a profession for him. Like he's done some like some people would not agree, but some I wouldn't say gay for pay, but it's like transgendered stuff.
Oh, okay.
But he doesn't do it because he's in it, he does it because it's his job. He like a profession. I'll look as far because I know we're getting close, right? I know then, and you're the boss and you close the shit out. But I'll leave it with this. Some of the people that you and I have seen who have ridiculed some of this stuff, they're not going so far. And I'm not insulting anybody. Everyone deserves their right to an opinion, but there are folks out there that love cosplay, right? I love cosplay. I think cosplay is amazing. I love people like Bajusho Mom, Juliette Michelle. She's fucking amazing. I like Envious. I'm not a big fan of
Envious.
I'm not a big fan of Momo-kun, but because she's a horrible human being in my opinion. But she's out there. Full Metal Efreet. All of these people who have done this stuff, they have OnlyFans and they do this and they sell their stuff. Little Puck, like Bella Daphne, all these people do this stuff, and these are your fucking cosplayers. Scuba Stephanie, the girl who plays Rhonda in the fast food house. They all have fucking OnlyFans, and they do this shit as a profession, as a side income, as a way to get their names out there, you know. And for anybody to judge that, you're fucking like your niche of cosplayers do this. So before you judge these people that you say that OnlyFans is prostitution or Fansy is this, the people you like to support are doing it. How dare you sit there and piss on their fucking Cheerios?
Exactly, and I guess my final regard of that, going in that category, it's like, it's just like, you know, like with a lot of people who don't like whatnot and all that. I like yes, you're entitled to your opinion, but it's like I do find it funny that a lot of people that I see do talk about are what you would call the stereotypical people that, let's say, would pay to see these people, you know, or that are not, as we mentioned earlier, that are not as what's the word I'm looking for? They're
incels.
Yeah, where they you know, they don't have the people skills. They don't have the skills to go and get a woman. Like, I'm sure if a girl they were dating said, like, hey, you know, like I'll fuck you, you know, all you gotta do is just do it for my OnlyFans and whatnot. They don't have to pay a damn thing and all that, but they get the opportunity. Let's say they're virgins, or let's say not, like they just have had bad luck in relationships or whatever. They have the perfect opportunity to lose their virginity and bang a chick that they may never be able to bang before or again. I guarantee you 99.9999% of these people would jump at the opportunity. As I mentioned earlier, one chick I did because again, I knew that was probably the only chance I would ever get in doing that. Plus, like, I'm helping her.
I get where you're coming from, because that's an experience. But not only that, it's a safe space for people to apply their craft in the profession they've chosen and make all they are completely in charge of what goes out. They are completely in charge of their surroundings, and they are completely in charge of their safety, because behind that camera lens and them making this content, they don't have to worry about someone fucking attacking them or this. And if they have a stalker, they can easily delete that person and block them. It's there's so many benefits to it that I just don't like the idea of people being judged. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It really.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
And that brings the shit out of me. It just really bugs the shit out of me that, like, look, if it's no different than fucking like this platform here, and you know what? That's what we're going to be talking about next, right? The segue.
Yeah.
Beef in the kitchen. You know, there's nothing that bugs the shit out of me.
You stole my thing. I was going to be like, hey Dan, where's the beef? you bastard! You ruined my outro on that, you motherfucker.
Okay. I apologize, but we're getting look. I get heated about some of this shit. It's
no, I get you. I'm the same way. And again, it's funny from someone who was in that thing. And I guess my final regards of that two things was what kind of got me to kind of come to terms and kind of accept and now respect it was like, there are, like, even though there are some women who just do it just to like use their sexuality to get money from men, but hey, whatever you gotta do. But also it's the side hustle thing, like we referred to. Some of these women have jobs. They're doing this, they're doing that. It's not every woman who has OnlyFans or every man has OnlyFans. This
stuff has basically become the alternative to fucking stripping. All right, like, yeah. I worked in clubs, and I know there's a fucking old fucking like wives' tale that girls dance in clubs to pay for medical school. It really is a true thing. I've known plenty of beautiful young women who are bartending and or dancing to get through college, because that shit's expensive. At least with this, they're not having to be groped by greasy, sad, pathetic sacks of shit, and I've seen it firsthand. I'm also
I dated a stripper like a while back.
They're dancers, Charlie. They're fucking dancers.
Oh yes, exactly. Yes. And she, like, it took her years, and it was actually the pandemic that finally got her just to realize, hey, I want to make some of myself, and she quit the thing. That's why, like, tell you a little side thing, but with when again, it's pre-recorded, but Big Boy Chase, for those of you who do not know, took our boy Mason to a strip club, and we were talking about it behind the scenes, and he mentioned something about a certain strip club, and I was like, oh yeah, well, you should go to the next time. I'm like, I don't go anymore after that since my little Italy is not there anymore. So it's just like, and all that, but I'm happy for her. She's basically living her life and all that good stuff, and and she had to do this she was doing this since she was a teenager. So again, going back to the dark side of things, is that but
so you, as we talked about before, like I know this stuff gets heated, right? And we get heated in the fucking idea in social media. And a lot of this little tiny shit rolls up into a giant patty of fucking conducive bullshit meat beef that we have on these platforms. One little fucking spark is all it takes, and then you're fucking in a full-blown feud. You've been there. I've been there. And how stupid is it? But that's what we'll talk about next time.
Yeah.
We're talking about beef.
Yes, and final thing on my end is that we alluded to this earlier about behind the scenes thing. I've said that a lot of people that when I've done work with, they've openly told me that one of the reasons why, like, they usually pick me or whatever. And it's not just because of my sexual prowess or whatever else, and all that stuff. It's not just that. It's the trust factor. Would I rather have a random stranger who I don't know, who I could possibly take this too far or this, that, and the third, or think it's more than what it is? Or would I have somebody that I've known for a long time and trust, not only with my body, but just my emotions, whatnot, that, and that knows my ins and outs.
Fucking safety.
Yeah. And so that to me, I appreciate that as well, because there are a million guys out there that I'm sure would want to fuck any one of them. And to pick me out of those reasons, not just for the aspect of it, it's a nice feeling to know that, hey, that you are trusted by these people to take care of them during these situations, because that's what is most important, is to make sure that their needs are met. And all that. So that will be where I ended on my end. But yes, we will be talking about a lot of beef. Some Chef Boyardee beef, some spaghetti beef.
And if you're comfortable with it, I feel like we'll go into a little bit more personal without saying too many names. Like, but real talking about how fucking beef can ruin someone's life. Almost. Yes.
And we will be, and that will be a very interesting and probably to some controversial conversation, but that's what we're here for, to have some talks that not too many people are here to talk about. Case in point, OnlyFans. But yes, I would like to thank my co-host Darkwing Duck for not only for coming in to talk about this topic, but also making that beautiful. I was gonna change it mid during the intro, but I'm like, that's such a too beautiful of an image. Has to be double me in there, and all that. talk about beef right there. Ooh. But before I have to go and see myself out, just admiring my gorgeousness, we will be ending it. So thank you everybody for checking us out, and shout out to Cherry for being a consistent support each and every week, and we look forward to entertaining her more every episode.
Also, before we go, I want to say shout out to Paige for overcoming a very personal issue lately. I'm proud of you, kid. You keep doing so. You never cease to amaze me with everything you do and overcoming that particular situation. So I'm always here if you need me. You know that, and Charlie's here if you need him.
Yes. Got two completely different ideologies that he is always being told. My way and then Dan's way. Well, my way's right. But no, and all joking aside, yes, no, it's very proud of him, and I'm proud to see my boy turn into a man. But we'll leave it with that there. But this has been Chayton and Dan, and we will see you on the next one. Until then, take care, guys.